2020 will be remembered as the pinnacle of DeFi, or what some might say the era of decentralized finance. It almost was reminiscent of the 2017 ICO mania, where we had various copy projects, scam protocols popping up left, right, and center with the sole purpose of, and let's just say the goal here was really to grab as much of the investors' money as possible. But nonetheless, we had some great projects come out of DeFi, which I certainly feel is clearly still undervalued and worth a second chance in terms of having a look at what the valid use cases are for DeFi. If this sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned for more. My name is Firoz from decentralizedchain.com. Welcome to another video. And if this is your first time here and you want to learn more about crypto, whether it's news, insights, or analysis to help you get that edge, then start now by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Now, as I mentioned, really today is around looking at projects that I think have some significant use cases within DeFi, ultimately bolstering it and moving it forward. It isn't necessarily looking at projects that have hype or capitalization, but more so just what I genuinely think are projects that are actually overlooked. And considering that we're in a dip, it may well be an opportunity to jump back into these projects as well. So, it's by no surprise that the first project that we're going to look at is Band Protocol. I mean, here at Decentralized Chain, we are fans of oracles. We've had plenty of oracles come on and present and talk about it. But more specifically, when I look at Band, it's a secure, scalable blockchain platform delivering decentralized oracles for Web 3.0. And, the main thing here is that it runs on 3 blockchains. We've got Ethereum, Polkadot, which clearly is the flavor of the month or the quarter or the year, whatever you want to call it, and Cosmos as well. The idea is that it allows developers ultimately to create a wide spectrum of blockchain applications. Now, one of the things here really is let's focus a bit more on the charts, because what I like about this chart, and I've kind of expanded out to capture the entire time frame, is you've seen a steady increase in price. There hasn't really been any major dips or bumps along the way. And as you can see, it's just a steady price appreciation, which I like. And in all honesty, if it wasn't for the last 24 hours in terms of Bitcoin dumping, I suspect we most probably would have been on another leg up to newer highs. And so I think there is an opportunity here, if you wanted to get back into a successful project, to be able to gain some of that upward price momentum. And likewise, when you look at these types of projects, always try to look at some of their peers. So if we kind of go to the Oracle tab here on CoinGecko, what you'll see is, at the very top, we've got Chainlink. That's sitting at a over a 10.5 billion market cap, or just under, whichever way you want to look at it. Then you've got UMA sitting at 1.2 billion. And then you've got Band Protocol sitting at just under 300 million. Now, even from there, it's still another 4x to even catch up with UMA. I'm not saying it's going to catch up with UMA today or tomorrow, but ultimately what will happen is that the more well-known Oracle protocols, the one that have more success, more room to grow, will slowly eat more market share and move further up in terms of market cap. And, I personally don't see why Band Protocol can't be a 1 billion market cap project. I mean, it certainly has the legs for it. It's a solid team, it's a solid performer, and I generally think that this one is one that is slightly overlooked. Secondly, let's also have a look at another project. The other one that I'm looking at the moment is also the Graph. Now, Graph is really important. If you kind of know APIs, in the traditional sense, when you have a large organization which have multi-platforms, multi-different vendors, all trying to communicate with each other, the API layer or the middleware layer ultimately is what connects them all together. And this is really important. And this is what Graph is actually trying to do. The idea behind the protocol is that it's aimed at creating the blockchain data API requests. And this is key, especially with DeFi, because you've got so many different Lego blocks. You need to be able to interconnect them all together. And that's kind of what that API layer is there to do. And once again, here Graph platform is utilizing major DeFi protocols such as Uniswap, Synthetics, Decentraland, Aragon. All of these are being utilized by Graph. So once again, let's go and have a look at the charts here, right? So if we scroll down, Then let me go into a simpler chart. This is what I like to see. It's a steady price action. February, it's gone slightly parabolic. Then we've kind of got a bit of a consolidation phase. And then, once again, same story across the board. Last 24 hours, a lot of these projects are dipping because Bitcoin's pulling it down and it doesn't care about fundamentals. And once again, if you're looking at potential entry points, to me, it looks like here, certainly $1.48, around the $1.48 region, we've got some strong support here. At the end of the day, it's certainly not dipping low. Look, we've tried to dip low on one of these candles. It's completely been swallowed right the way back up again. And I certainly think that we'll find most likely further support here. And so if you are looking for an entry point, this really isn't a bad area at this point. Assuming that the market doesn't become any further negative in terms of sentiment, I reckon we will slowly start seeing an upside to this. And simply from here all the way back up to $2.70. There's a fair bit of upside here and there's a fair bit of gains to be made. Similarly, let's also have a look at another one, which is Injective Protocol. Ultimately, this is looking at bringing a layer 2. It's a layer 2 exchange protocol. Specifically, is looking to expand the capabilities of decentralized exchanges and DeFi, and ultimately looking at decentralized crypto derivatives. I mean, Injective was actually one of the first platforms to provide CFDs, futures and open-ended swaps trading. So it already has a slight, I would say, footing in this DeFi space. And once again, these are the sort of options that we need in this space as well. And derivatives is one that is always growing. And look, let's look at the charts. You'll see it's a very similar story. Let's go back to the basic chart here. As you can see, it is a general increase over time in price appreciation. No sudden drops, no dumps, just slowly up, consolidating, next leg up. And to be honest, if it wasn't once again for the current dip, I suspect we would have continued to move further up within the price point here as well. And let's go and have a look at the trading view charts just to kind of have a bit more of a better look. Look, there's clear support here within this region, right? Here, we take the sort of $12 down to say $11.80 region. There's clear support here. It doesn't look like it's dipping any lower than that. Even here, if we go back a little while to yesterday, once again, there was a big sell-off all the way down here. But look, volume kicked in. Massive wick going all the way down, quickly bought back up, and it's still closed here. So once again, and this kind of also validates here the support that we got here. There's a lot of buying pressure around here as well. So this is a potential one that you might want to also look at in terms of entry points. Stick it on your list. Next up is Near Protocol. And once again, I'm always a fan of simplicity, and really the idea behind this is that it's designed to accelerate and simplify the development of decentralized applications. So the idea is that developers can easily deploy their own asset management applications, digital identity, currencies, all of that stuff, and really think of this as more as a software development kit or a range of tools basically for developers, from SLIs to wallet templates to blockchain components. The idea is that you can quickly build what you want without having too much in-depth knowledge in this space. And so this is always a positive because it is bringing use cases into DeFi. It's making DeFi more accessible and usable and allowing people to create and build further applications. And the chart tells a very similar story to the other ones that we've just seen today. Once again, it's a steady increase in price, no sudden dips, no dumps, just no pumps whatsoever. And if we have a look at TradingView, let's have a look at some of the lower time frames here. It's clearly finding a fair bit of resistance, or support here, should I say, not resistance. It's finding resistance here, which kind of correlates with the resistance, with the support. I'm getting these two confused now. We've got support here, and we've also got support here, which kind of validates and correlates with previous price action on those areas. And frankly, look, we've got a big green candle going right the way back up as well. And this is a prime, for me, a good entry point if you're looking to get in for a play here. $3, $3.30. Still, there's plenty of upside all the way back up to all-time highs at $5. And look, once the market is positive, once the sentiment is booming, once Bitcoin is moving and not necessarily, or consolidating for that matter, and not necessarily dragging the markets down with it, I don't see why this coin cannot go back up to its all-time highs again. And look, the all-time highs was literally back on February the 13th. So, you know, it was 10 days ago more than anything else. And the last one that I have on my list is Reef. Reef is one that I bought early in when they listed, and it did really well. And to be honest, I sold a bit early on this one, but ultimately it positions itself as DeFi's first cross-chain operating system. And you know, despite the fact that it only appeared back in Q3 2020, it already got listed on Binance, so it's already on one of the major exchanges. And what Reef is looking to do is ultimately bring what is a hybrid liquidity aggregator built on top of Polkadot. So once again, it's got that whole Polkadot narrative behind it as well. But ignoring the whole Polkadot piece here, you know, the idea is that it basically receives liquidity both from centralized and decentralized platforms. Lending, staking, you know, mining, all of these are available on the platform for its users. And really the idea behind here, you know, is that it's looking to remove the problems of the fragmentation that we have within the DeFi markets today by providing global liquidity to eliminate those high transaction fees and lower the entry barrier for users. You only have to have a look at Uniswap fees to understand exactly what's happening there. With the way Ethereum is, with the whole scalability issue, with network congestion, a simple couple of $100 trades ends up, you know, putting you back at least $40, $50 in transaction fees. And that's putting off those who are getting into DeFi, who are discovering DeFi, you know, because we've got a whole new series of users coming in, right? We had our 27 users. Now we've kind of got our 2020 users, 2021 users that are kind of seeing the upside within Bitcoin, the price appreciation within Bitcoin and wanting to dabble. But, you know, if we make the barrier for entry really difficult, and it's not like we're doing it on purpose, but we've got scalability issues with Ethereum, then that is what is stopping people from moving in. And once again, let's have a look at the charts on Reef. Steady price action going up, consolidation, another leg up, and then we've got another leg up, and then consolidation and slightly lower down. And here I think I would say Reef is at some pretty decent entry points actually. So, you know, for me, 2.5, look at that. 2.5 cent is wicked all the way down. It's literally jumped off the support that it found previously, and it's gone right back up. And at the moment, it's clearly got some good support around the 2.7 cent area. And I think here it does seem like a decent entry to come into it as well at the same time. So, you know, what you need to do sometimes is just step back, have a look at the charts. Don't look at what's happening in the short term, because these projects that I'm looking at here, for me, these would be mid to long term holds. And I'm certainly sure, it's not financial advice, it's purely my opinion, that there will be some significant upside to these projects because they have, at the end of the day, fundamental use cases. Now, as always, you need to do your own research. Don't listen to some dude on the internet talking about charts and where prices are going. You need to kind of look at these projects, hang around in the Telegram communities, see exactly what they've done and come to your own decision. But in my personal opinion, I believe that ultimately these projects are slightly underappreciated in terms of their initiative and approach to the DeFi market and infrastructure development overall, because these are more infrastructure plays than anything else. I think that's really about it, to be honest, more than anything else. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, then, you know, I always appreciate a subscribe. Definitely hit the like button and drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about these projects. Are these projects that you might be wanting to get into, or are you thinking, nah, I don't think they really have much of a use case? Let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.